Hello everybody, my name is Stephen Redman. Welcome to Pastor's Library. This is the channel where we discuss everything to do with theology books, books that might be on a reading list for a seminary course, for a bachelor's or master's degree in biblical theology or biblical studies, or maybe just books that you've seen somewhere else, maybe at a friend's house, in your pastor's office, or so on. Whatever it is, we're interested in your comments, so please leave them below. And we're always interested in your support for the channel, which you can do just by giving us a thumbs up after you've watched this, or by clicking the subscribe button and the bell, because those will cost you nothing, but they will help publicise our channel, for which we are very grateful. So today I want to talk about a book that I saw advertised, that I bought, that I've enjoyed, and what it's revealed about the mysterious series that Zondervan do. This is The Story of Jesus Continues. It's by Douglas S. Huffman, and it's a really heavy, hardbound book, published this year in 2025. 680 pages. That's what I call a book of a decent size. It's a great book. It's got timelines, it's got tables, it's got inserts about various subjects, photos, illustrations, maps, and a glossary. It all sounds quite exciting, really. The inside is also quite exciting. Great colour pages. A very, very good book indeed. As soon as I saw this, I thought, hang on a minute now, I've got a book like this, which is a Mark Strauss book, and it's 4 portraits, 1 Jesus. And all you've got to do is see this book, and you realise, if you've got that book, that they're clearly designed to go together. The Gospels followed by the Acts of the Apostles. Douglas S. Huffman doing this survey of the Acts of the Apostles. So I looked at this Mark L. Strauss 4 portraits, 1 Jesus, which says on mine the 2nd edition, which was published in 2020, 656 pages, very similar size, weight. A great deal of work has gone into both of these books. And the subtitle for this one is A Survey of Jesus and the Gospels. So I thought to myself, hang on a minute, a survey. The two were called surveys. This must be the Zondervan Survey edition, or the Zondervan Survey range, or something like that. So I googled them, and I found that actually there is no record of such a series. And then I looked at them and I thought, well, hang on a minute, these are slightly different colour. But I think I've also got some other books in this series that doesn't exist. This one is a favourite of mine. It's Thinking Through Paul, a survey of his life, letters and theology. And that's by Bruce Longnecker and Todd Still. And an absolutely brilliant book by Karen Jobes, Letters to the Church, survey of Hebrews and the general epistles. You get the theme here. They're all quite chunky books. This one's 2011, 478 pages. This one, which I only got yesterday, is 2010 and 376 pages. And this is by J. Daniel Hayes. It's called The Message of the Prophets, a survey of the prophetic and apocalyptic books in the Old Testament. And finally, the only one that I bought in paperback, because it was such a huge difference in price from the hardback, are the Writings of John, a survey of the Gospels, Epistles and Apocalypse by C. Marvin Pate. Now, these books clearly are on a theme. They are all Zondervan books. They all have a survey in the title, in the subtitle. You would really think, wouldn't you, that they would be easy to pick up. You would find them on the Zondervan site. What you can't do is find them there, but you can find some of them on sites like Amazon. But what is interesting is that you can find some of them in the back pages of the books. So you'll find that some of them will advertise each other. And in this one, The Message of the Prophets, there are 3 others in the series advertised. Of course, I'm calling them a series. Zondervan don't call them a series, but I'm calling them a series because they're all a Zondervan survey. And they're all very, very similar in layout and design. And whereas there's been a thematic change of the covers, it's only subtle. And these really are great books. So I've already mentioned Karen Jobes to you. She goes through Hebrews and the general epistles. And I don't know if you've read any Karen Jobes, but she really is quite a remarkable writer. Talk about detail, talk about having every fact at your fingertips. These books are packed with detail. They are a true survey of our Bibles in the sections that they apply to. And I would suggest these are a brilliant addition to anyone's bookshelf if you are a student doing a bachelor's or master's, or if you are indeed just a pastor and you are trying to better yourself and improve your academic knowledge and find your way round the scriptures. Karen Jobes, for example, with Hebrews, she looks at every issue. For example, the issue that is barely faced but is there on every page, the issue of Gnosticism as a thing that the author to the Hebrews was resisting. We have a great piece of work by Mark Strauss, particularly on the 2nd edition of 4 Gospels, 1 Jesus. That is an absolutely brilliant piece of work. Mark Strauss, I have followed him from his previous work alongside Gordon Fee as the 2nd author in the book, and he's done some great work. But this, I would suggest, is probably a pièce de résistance. It really is excellent. All of these have really got something to offer. So why aren't Zondervan shouting about them? I am a huge Bruce Longnecker fan. I really like everything he writes. And this Thinking Through Paul's Life, Letters and Theology, this is a brilliant survey. For example, on the page I've just opened it at, there is an insert saying, what was the situation of Onesimus? There are little maps showing where things took place. There are great recommendations for further reading, which seriously, if Bruce Longnecker's recommending that, I would recommend it too. I think he's a really good author. This one's from 2014, 408 pages. But if you're going to study Paul to any degree, I would suggest this is a very good place to start off from. This is not a huge essay about his theology, but it is a deep dive, a true academic survey of his writings, but most importantly of his theology too. So these books have so much to offer. I started off with this one about Acts of the Apostles by Huffman, and you'll see that they've got fabulous line diagrams. This particular one is talking about coordinating proposals for Luke's political apologetic. And if you can say that quickly, then you're a better man than I. Fabulous tables giving lots of information. And I think that this is a book that is truly an in-depth study. If you are, for example, doing a preaching tour through the Acts of the Apostles, then obviously you'll want a good commentary, and if you want the ultimate commentary, it's the 4 volumes by Craig Keener. But there are other very, very good commentaries out there, and I've talked about most of them over my range of videos. But this is just the doorway you need to open up everything else, because it tackles every issue, deals with every rogue sentence, every translation that you can't quite grasp. It puts everything in its context. and I would suggest to you it's a truly worthwhile purchase. Now, the hardbacks for these are clearly not going to be that cheap, but they are good and they're not ridiculously priced. And particularly if you've got a voucher, sometimes if you subscribe to particular websites, they'll give you a voucher every now and again. You can spend that and save money. And I really do think this is very worthwhile. Now, the Mark L. Strauss gives 4 gospel reviews. The Pate one, dealing with John, also reviews John's gospel as well as John's epistles and John's apocalypse, or the book of Revelation. And it's interesting to compare the two, because the two are different, but they reflect each other's insights, and they do give you a great extra perk from the series. Now then, are they going to call them a series ever? Well, there's no Pentateuch or Heptateuch. There's no historical books. There's no wisdom books. You've got the prophets from the Old Testament, and you've got pretty much the New Testament covered. I think you've got the whole New Testament covered now. So are they going to go back? Have they already commissioned someone to do the Pentateuch, someone to do the historical books, someone to do the wisdom books? I think they could probably deal with the rest of the Bible in 3 more books. But why not recognise that these are the Zondervan surveys or something else? Before filming this morning, I have double checked the Zondervan website. They're not mentioned as being an entity. And I've even checked some websites that list commentary series and other Bible theology series, and they don't list them either. So somebody somewhere is missing a trick. I'm telling you, these are a very, very good book series. And whether or not I am misspeaking by calling them a book series, I think that's what they are. And I entirely recommend them to you. So if you've seen Huffman's advertised recently, because there's been a lot of support for it on different people's blogs and websites, and it is certainly a real piece of quality, timely academic work. Whatever it is, whichever one you start with, why not give them a try? Of course, if surveys are not a thing that rings your bell, if you don't really want to look in depth into your New Testament in particular or on the prophets to see more of what's going there, I find sometimes I see things in a survey of this quality that I just hadn't clicked with. And I want to suggest to you, finding the things where you haven't clicked with before are always a tremendous asset to your Bible study and your development, the development of your preaching, and that is something that's very important to me. And ultimately what I'm saying is these are a quality piece of work. I hope you like them. If you have got anything to say about them, please leave a message underneath. If you've got any other questions, please leave them. I do try to get back to everybody within about a week, although the summer holidays are coming. But in all our journeys together, I thank you very much for your support. I thank you for every one of you that takes the time to leave me a message or to leave me a question, and may God bless you for that. And until next time, people, all I've got to say to you is bye!